Okay, I wanted to introduce a product, a 3D print design that I developed actually last year and used in my display last year. Probably had about 10 or 12 of these throughout the display. And there was a few minor tweaks that I made at the end of the season. And I think it's now ready for production and to be put out into the world for anybody who may want to use those. Now, before the internet blows up, the concept here was not my idea. Butch Napier, I believe, had a design that he had posted about probably about 2 years ago. I don't think he's ever released those to the public. I thought it was a great idea. Just how I kind of lay out my display, the things that I use, it really seemed like it was a concept that I could adapt, make some tweaks to make it fit for me, and then use in the display. So like I said, I had used these out in my display all of the 2025 season. I'm going to expand on them this year in the 2026 season. Basically, this is a 3D printed controller case that you can print at home. You can put out in your display. They use fairly minimally sized parts, so parts that most standard printers will fit, so you don't need something a monstrosity of a printer. And basically the concept is every single setup needs at least 3 parts printed to make it work. One is going to be the controller enclosure, which is this right here. The other is going to be a mounting plate, which is right here. And then the last thing is going to be a bottom plate. Okay, and this bottom plate, I probably have 10 or 12 different versions of this. So basically there's a PG9 gland for power, always one on every controller. There are PG7 glands for the pigtails, and there's variations of this from 4, there's an 8, there's also a 16 version. There's also waterproof RJ45 holes. Now these are 1-inch sized. They're available. The vast majority of the ones that I tested fit in here. I, in particular, use the wired watts version. But these mounting plates, again, there's a whole bunch of different versions in the file that you'll get that have 1, 2, 4, 5. It kind of just depends on the setup that you're looking for and what you're going to use. So those are the 3 basic things that you need. So besides the mounting plate, the enclosure itself is pretty heavy duty. It's got thick walls. The back has 2 mounting holes, and this can be used for a variety of different things. The thing that I use the most is going to be this hanging bracket. I use a ton of trusses in my display. These can hang on the back of props. They can hang on a fence. That's what I used a lot of. So there's zip tie holes, both vertical and horizontal. There's screw holes if you wanted to screw it into something. They're super easy to use. When this is hooked on the whatever you're going to hook it on, mount it on, this just slides into the enclosure box and then it holds it into place. Okay, that's one mounting option. These holes that are on the back of this controller are designed to accept a 1/2-inch PVC pipe. So those can go in here. Obviously you would put 2, you could paint these black if you wanted to. And then this PVC pipe then can go into 2 different options. One is this ground stake. So there are, this is meant to go into the ground. There's 2 heavier duty stakes and then 2 balancing stakes to stop this from rocking. Once this is in the ground, you can install your PVC pipe in here. Again, you would have 2, and then your controller would just hang on top of it. And you could basically put this at any height. Obviously, weight is eventually going to become a factor, but on a reasonable height, this will hold. The other ground mounting option I don't have printed, but is available, and those are feet. I can put some pictures up, and those feet are designed to accept PVC on the pipe on the top, and then 2 that expand out to kind of keep it balanced. There's end caps as well, but that's available for print as well to put out in the display. The enclosure itself has air vents, so the fans from the power supply are pretty good at moving air. I didn't have any problems with overheating. I don't have huge controllers on here putting out tons and tons of power, and there was no problems with them whatsoever. The inside, I don't really know if you can see this, but there's a groove inside here, and that groove is meant to accept the power supply mounting point. So that slides in and then it locks in, and that doesn't come out. And if you need to, you can lift it up over the top and pull it out when you need to. And then you also will need these mounting studs that you melt into the design. Those are M4 screw holes. So that's the enclosure. The base, the LRS mounting plate is designed for just that. LRS Meanwell power supplies. There's the 350 watt that can fit on here. There is, I believe it's the 150 watt, which is a 12.5 amp power supply. Those will fit on there. This is the 75 watt power supply. This will also fit on here. I use a ton of these in my display. And what you can do is, if you're going to use the 75 watt or the 150 watt 12 or 5 volt, they can mount on the smaller section of this plate. And then the bottom here is designed specifically for a Kulp or Falcon SR1 smart receiver. They can fit down here. It is also designed for the Kulp K4 PB, the Pocket Beagle K4. I use a ton of those in my display as well. So that can be mounted on just this single plate, okay? So again, as I was saying, you need a mounting plate for the power supply, you need an enclosure, and then you're gonna need some type of bottom plate, okay? Now, obviously, if you want to go bigger, you can put in a 350 watt power supply, and then it's going to look something like this. So it's mounted on here. And what we have is a controller mounting plate that slides over the Meanwell power supply. And this is designed specifically for every single KulpLights lighting controller. So the PB4, any of the K8s in Beagle version, the older style Beagle Bone Black, the newer PB2s, any of the Pi version K8s. It is designed for a single SR1 smart receiver, a double SR smart receiver, so two singles basically, the SR2. It is also designed for the SR4, which is 16 outputs. And I also use the Lightorama KB, I think it's CMB, the 24 channel DC controller. It's designed for that as well. All of those will fit directly on this. Then this gets mounted directly to the power supply. And then this is the newer Kulp. This is the K8 Pro with the Pocket Beagle on here. As you can see, it's mounted. There are standoffs that you used on here. You don't necessarily need to use these. The reason why I used them on this is the battery is on the bottom of the controller. These are pretty tall. You could use smaller ones. The holes on the controller mount are designed for M4, M3 mounts. So you could use smaller screws. It kind of just depends on whatever you want to do. If this is up higher, you can actually run some cables underneath it. So your options are pretty endless there, just on routing. This has a lot going on this particular controller between the 8 outputs, pixel outputs, the 4 smart receiver differential outputs, and then the Ethernet port on here. But essentially, once this is built, this is what it's going to look like. And what you're going to do is, just to demonstrate here, this, like I said, just slides right in the controller. It locks in, and now the box is nice and secure. That can't come out. To get it out, you just simply lift the board and pull this out, okay? So that would be the setup. Now, I've gone ahead and pre-wired my enclosure here. My enclosure bottom, I should say. So here's one populated. It's got 5 of the RJ45 ports, and you can see these are the ones from Wired Watts. I use these pretty much exclusively, but all the cabling is already attached to them. There is one power cord coming in here through the PG9 gland, and then there's 8 PG7 glands on here. I've already pre-wired the pixel outputs here. So basically what I'm going to do now is just set this up. One feature here I would recommend, as you install these, don't tighten down the nuts all the way so that there's still some movement. And the reason for that is once we get this all installed, we can go ahead and adjust that so it's nice and tight in the enclosure and you get as much of the pixel pigtail out as possible. So I'm just going to install all of this first by putting in our power connectors here. Okay, let's try that again. I realized I had the power outputs wired wrong. So now that that's fixed, I'm going to wire in the power for the controller. So ground on the left, neutral in the center, and then line on the outside. Okay, so now the transformer is wired up. Next thing we're going to do here is wire up the controller. So the even number pixel ports on the bottom. So we're going to start with 2, 4. I obviously pre-wired, connected all these to the connectors, but you would obviously need to do that. The odds go on the top. Here's 3. Here's 5. And here's why not tightening them works out nice. You can get these all pulled together, pulled to the right tension to get things locked in. Now I'm going to use this lower jack as my Ethernet port. Put that up there, and then we're going to go 9 through 12 on the left. 13 through 16 is next. 17 through 20 is next. And then 21 through 24 is next. Now, there's a lot of wire here, so I just like to kind of get this all together like this so that everything is nice and together. I take a single zip tie and piece all these guys together. Just like that. Take this off. And I'm going to do the same up here at the top. Okay, take a single zip tie through these. Okay. Get this off of here. Okay, now here is our setup. Looks crazy. It is not, I promise. So we're going to lay this down. This is going to slide into the groove. We're going to press this in, just like that, okay, and get that to lock in. Now, the top of this, we're going to get to start to pull some of these wires through. So power cord is going to be first. Just pull this through here. This is why I said it's best if you keep these loose, because they will, it'll be much easier for you to adjust all these. Let's get this pulled through here. Okay, now we're going to turn the lid around. And basically what you want to do is get this lined up to a point where you can get some screws in, and that's going to require pulling a bunch of these wires out. We don't want too much bulk in here. Okay, those guys pulled through. Okay, now once you get this lined up to a point, you can use some M4 screws here. And these are going to go into the top, You just want to get these started. You don't need to be crazy here. Basically what you're just looking to do is hold this into place so that you can get the enclosure adjusted correctly. And you'll see that this kind of all snaps in nice. It's a pretty tight fit. Remember that this will be hanging down, so you don't have to worry about water or anything getting into it. Okay, I'm not going to put all these screws in for demonstration purposes. I'll just get the sides and bottom put in. Nice. Just like this. This guy here. Okay, and I'll put one at the bottom here just for demonstration purposes. But you will see that you now have a built enclosure. Obviously, all 8 screws you'll need to make this waterproof. We had in New Jersey, we had a pretty brutal winter between snow and tons of rain, and when these came down, there wasn't a drop of water in a single one of them. So I am extremely confident in how these are. Again, I didn't push all these down, but you would put all 8 screws in. But there is your enclosure box. Again, this would be sealed once everything's tight, but that's what you got. So it's a different type of controller box that will hopefully make everybody's lives a little bit easier. I'll release all the STL files on my Kulp page. If anybody wants to print them, feel free and enjoy.